To a thirsty person, a little cup is a lot better than a big Bible. Grace and peace, everybody. We've reached the end of this 5-part series, God's Call to Mission, and a message to us through the life of Abraham. We're going to pick up one more thought from his example on how God's call in our life manifests itself, especially in our goal to meet the call of helping and seeing other people be saved. You know, Abraham was a modest man, but at the same time, he had such a power. And that power from his relationship to God gave him and garnered a respect amongst his peers, like an example of when he saved Lot and how even those in Sodom and Gomorrah wanted to give honor to him and they respected him. And all throughout his life, you see that happening. And I think by and large, that greatness was rooted in something very small. And it's the idea of being practical. Abraham and how he treated those servants and how he treats his nephew, he doesn't lose sight of the big things by missing the little things. And that practical ministry, that practical treating people with kindness and respect and giving them what they need in that spot, that matters. It matters. So if I'm a thirsty person, if I'm really, really parched, and you come to me with this huge family edition heritage Bible and tell me to read these verses, it's good stuff and it's good news, but it's truth, but it's not present truth. Right now, if you want me to stay awake in order to read this Bible, I need some water. My cells require hydration in order for my brain cells to process this word. That's what Jesus was saying to us. Yes, that's what Jesus said. It's what he meant, and it's what he said when you read here in Matthew chapter 10:42 about practical kindness, practical love, and practical ministry. Whosoever shall give to drink one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. Just giving a thirsty child something to drink, that's discipleship. It does not preclude or take away all those other things that we do in our discipleship, but never think that that's the sum total of it. If somebody, especially a child, is needing something to drink, you better not be trying to rush them off to Sabbath school. You better put that Pathfinder sash away. You better give that baby something to drink. That's what he's telling us. And this is what Abraham learned in his missionary efforts. Now, it's one thing to see it in the eyes and in the life of a child. I mean, a child is innocent. A child is pure. That's one reason why the enemy hates them and why we have to protect them. Because he knows that it's that image of God in that child that he loves to mar, because that hurts God the most. Knowing that, how about the other end? The not so innocent, the not so pure. What about an enemy? Look at what Jesus said. Jesus says here in Romans chapter 12, verse 20, through the ministry of Paul, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he be thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Okay. Giving water to a child, I can get that. There's a sympathy that we would have for an innocent child, but even an enemy, I'm not sympathizing with what makes them my enemy, but I see their need. I look beyond their fault to see the need. And if a person, not an enemy, but this person, another human being, another child of God, which makes them my brother in God, maybe not my brother in blood, maybe not my brother in covenant, maybe not even my brother in agreement, but that's my brother in God, I should give them something to drink. And if I do that, there's even a possibility that that water will turn into fire. And that water turns into a fire, of a heap of coals proverbially on their head, that allows them to see that I am your brother and inspires them to surrender to God so that by his spirit in them, they can change. But guess who else can change? Me. We change. We are changed by this fire that we want to heap and burn on them. It burns away the selfishness, the lust, and the pride in us that has allowed us to be enemies. Brothers and sisters, this is what God is asking us to do. And you know why he's asking us to do it? Because it's exactly what he's done for us. It's right here in Mark chapter 9, verse 41. Guess what? He wants to give water to you. In fact, he says, for whosoever shall give you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you belong to Christ. Verily I say unto you, he shall not lose his reward. The same person who won't lose their reward if they give water to a child, you might be a child. Maybe you're watching this and you're an innocent child and you ask for a drink of water. God says, hey, whoever has given you water, whoever has blessed you, whether literally giving you water or whether it's the water of knowledge in a teacher, whether it's the water of knowledge in a classroom or the water of knowledge in showing you the way, that person is going to get a reward. But what if you're the enemy? What if you're listening to this right now and you know I'm not living right? I'm not in line with what God's will is for my life. I am an enemy. I may not even believe in him, and I may even be against him, anti-Christ. Guess what? Because of Christ's sacrifice, you're still God's child. You may not act like it and you may not claim it, but you cannot deny God's love for you. And in his love for you, he has watered you. He has still allowed you to have a job. He's still allowed you to enjoy a measure of success in life, in spite of us turning our backs on him. And even to us, notice how I say us, we, his enemies, when we were enemies, Romans 5 says, Christ died for the ungodly. And God's willing to give you a sip right now. He's offering us not just a cup of water, but that water is the water of life, Christ. So I think he can handle 8 ounces of aqua. I think he can handle a bottle of Fiji water or a little Dasani. If you're thirsty, he's willing to give it to you if you're willing to accept it. And it's the same thing with salvation. All of these to help us to understand the value of kindness and courtesy and love in God's mission, not just that he has for us, but even the mission that he has to us. I hope these lessons have encouraged you and they've blessed you. If they have, amen. Give God the glory and give this study to somebody else so they can be inspired too. But in the meantime, let's remember these lessons are not just for the looking, but by the power of God in us, by his Spirit, these are lessons for the living.